What is up, yo? Welcome back to another episode of Beat the Maze. It's EMB.
And it's your girl, Jasia.
And with this week, we have another special guest, my friend, my brother, Yusuf Lewis of RefreshCo. Yusuf, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank y'all for having me on here. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for coming with us. So one thing we like to do when we do our episodes is we love to just go through and sum up our weeks. So we normally go around corner style. So Ian, how's your week been?
My week has been pretty good. It's very productive. It is the start of Q3 at this point, recording. So yesterday I did a weekly review, a monthly review, and a quarterly review. It was my first quarterly review, and just getting a chance to see how far I've come since April to the end of June was just, it was eye-opening because you don't always look at your progress. So it's been a very, very good week for me. I'm going into Q3 very happy, and I'm looking forward to all the blessings. So Jay, how you doing?
I've been really good. This week I spent it, half of it was resting, half of it was definitely doing work, but Friday was my rest day. Like I didn't do anything but just like laid in the bed and truly had rest time, and that was beautiful. I needed that.
You need that.
You
need that sometimes.
That was beautiful. Yusuf, how have you been?
My week it's been pretty good. It was almost had a breakdown at the beginning of the week, but I had just took a shower and I just had to, I got it back together, but dropped a deal, it's 4th of July deal. So we're doing up to 2,000 square feet of home cleaning, full home cleaning for $175, normally $230. So we're only doing it for $175. Was able to build that package with my team and put it out there as quickly as possible. I was pretty excited about that. Normally, if we have an idea, it kind of takes a while to get done, but I was like, okay, I stayed up till like 3 a.m, made the page, made some content, got that out. And I would say that was my biggest win for the week. Also had found a structure to have team meetings. So daily meetings, maybe about 10 to 15 minutes with the team every morning to talk about just the wins, get them excited to log on and do the work that they got to do, talk about things that they've learned for the week. We all have material that we have to study. So everybody just go around table, talk about what they've learned. And then we just set goals for the week. So like tomorrow, it's the holiday, but we may have a meeting and we may just set goals for the week. And I was pretty excited about that we got that done last week. So my week's been pretty good.
For sure. So do you mind just introducing yourself to our audience? I know you kind of jumped right in, but we want to take a step back, want to let the people know who you are and what you do. So do you mind just introduce yourself, telling you a little more about what it is that you do in your company?
Yeah. So I'm Yusuf. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. Came to Atlanta about almost 4.5-5 years ago to go to Morehouse. A few things about me is I'm a big brother. I'm the brother of about, I don't know how many siblings. Like with my family, we have, it's 6 kids altogether. I'm the oldest boy out of the family. I'm an entrepreneur. I started a few companies in my lifetime. Started my first company when I was like 12 in like 7th grade. I'm a sneakerhead. I love sneakers. I used to be a big sneaker reseller, and I'm a messenger of God. That's just who I am.
A messenger of God. I love that. So let's start. You said you started your first business in like 7th grade. What's that, like 12, 13?
Yes.
So how did you even get it within yourself to be like, hey, I'm gonna start this business? Because a lot of people were like, they had the story of, oh, I'm a hustler, or I was doing this and I was doing that until I got to the point where they might be where you are now to be like, oh, now my first business. So how did you get it to where you started that first business at 12 or in the 7th grade rather?
Well, I don't know. I think it just started from like my mom and dad. One, they didn't go to college. My mom, she had me when she was young. And ever since I remember, she was always kind of hustling. She's a fashion designer and she makes swimsuits, crochet swimsuits.
That's hard.
And where she had a whole fashion line, she would make full suits for people out of crochet. And I remember just being around her when I was young. She used to have a shop in this hair salon, and I remember being in there with her. She would be selling clothes. And then my dad, he always out working. They had me at a young age, and I totally understand now, like why he wasn't there all the time because he was out working, trying
Right.
to provide for me. And at this age, I'm like, well, shit, I appreciate that because we always had a roof over our head, always had food. They was able to put me in school, had clothes, and now I'm grateful for that. So I would say it dates back to that. That's
Mm.
what started it. And
Was your dad an entrepreneur as well, or was he like just grinding, doing whatever he had to do?
I would say that's still entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So he's still an entrepreneur. But did y'all want me to tell y'all what the business was when I was 12 or?
Yeah, please.
Oh, so I moved to a new school, and one thing I noticed about the school is they didn't have any like vending machines, didn't have any like pop or candy, which was fine. So I said, well, shoot, I was a big fan of like root beer at the time. So I started to sell pops out of my locker, popping candy.
Mm.
And so for a while, I let people know right before lunch, I'll pull up to my locker, pop it open, and people would $1 for a can of pop. And a can of pop was like $4. Sold it for $1 each. It was about 12. So I made a few dollars and was able to reinvest the next day, go get another case.
Mm.
And then I started to, put chips in the locker, put candy, and people was able to grab stuff. And that was my first business. It only went on for about a week though. The school shut me down
Shut that
when
down.
they found out. And I didn't know why, but I guess that was like my first bit of adversity. But that was my first business.
I imagine it was very successful for that week.
At 12, I made $100 in a week. And I think for me, that was pretty good. Like I didn't have money. So I had $100. I could do a lot with $100 at 12.
Yeah.
Like I was good. But
I feel that. So how'd you get from being in childhood and then going to Morehouse? How'd you get to Morehouse from there?
well, I don't know how I got to Morehouse. I think it was God. But
Okay.
I had after 8th grade, I went to an all-boy high school, a private school. It was one of like the best schools in Detroit. It's called University of Detroit Jesuit. Forever grateful to go there. I would say that's like the first place where I was able to learn like how to become a man. Like my freshman year, I had like 20 detentions. Like they was not playing with us. And we had the dean of students there. His name was Kyle Chandler, a black guy. This was almost a PWI school. It was a private school in the middle of Detroit, and kids traveled from literally all over Michigan just to go here. And it was the best school. And from there, when it was time for senior year, my parents didn't go to college, so I didn't have any influence of like where I should go. I didn't have anyone to be like, well, I went here, you should go here. So I was pretty much free balling. I signed up for a few schools that I wanted to go to, like, the state schools, Michigan State, Michigan. But I really wanted to move to Chicago because I was big into sneakers, and Chicago was the closest city that had the big Nike drops every time.
Okay.
Because they had one of the Nike stores there. So I wanted to just go there because, I'm thinking I'm gonna resell for the rest of my life. But I didn't get into any of the schools I wanted to go to. I had really low ACT scores. My GPA at the school, it got better as time went on, but the school was tough. I didn't know how to study, do these things. So, I'm like struggling with the GPA too. And so my cousin told me, well, if you want to move to a city, why not move to Atlanta and go to Clark? And I'm like, okay, cool. I check. You can have like a lower ACT score and still get in. But I didn't know much about HBCUs. Only HBCU I knew about was Howard. So I did apply there, didn't get in, whatever. And so I told my counselor, like, hey, I applied to Clark. If I get in, I think I'm gonna go there and move to Atlanta. And she was like, oh, okay, cool. She was like, but did you apply to Morehouse though? And I was like, no, I don't even like what's Morehouse. And she was like, you don't know what Morehouse is? I'm like, no, I didn't know much about HBCUs at all. And so she said, I'm gonna call Morehouse today, and if they say you can send your application, apply there. So I said,
Wow.
cool.
That's
She
hard.
said like that's where like she said that was one of the best places for a black man. This is a white lady. I'm like, all right. And so I did, and then I had, I was in the sneaker community, and so luckily, since I said I was moving to Atlanta to go to Clark, I had gotten to the Atlanta sneaker community,
Mm.
ATATF, and then I had pretty much was like typing. It was one dude I thought he went to Morehouse. His name was Absalom, and I hit him up like, "Yo, did you go to Morehouse? Like, can you tell me about it?" And he was like, "No, I didn't go, but you should meet this guy named Karan. Karan, he went to Morehouse. Karan's from Chicago, big sneaker reseller, and then we had got connected, and he was just like, "Yeah, come here." And then luckily, Morehouse was like, "Yo, like we like you can send in your application." I got accepted, and then when it was around the time to go visit Clark for admitted students weekend, I found out I got into Morehouse, and so I pretty much went to visit Morehouse as well. And I had friends there already, and I had went during Miss Maroon and White, so I
Oh,
was
so it
like,
was
"Oh yeah, I'm
lit.
coming here." It was lit, so I'm like, "Let's go." I'm like, "Dad, we going here," and that's how I got to Morehouse. Like I didn't know anything about it. That was just a story.
So you were already super in love with sneakers before you got to Morehouse. Were you already selling them, or you were just in the community of like buying them and kind of flipping what you had?
Oh no, I was deep into sneakers at this time. Um, I had got really deep into it when it was around my sophomore, junior year of high school.
Mhm.
I had took my dad to this sneaker event. I said, "Dad, can you go to the sneaker event with me?" This is before like I had really got deep into it. I had a nice collection already. I maybe had about 20 shoes that was like still on ice, meaning like I never worn, they were still dead stock. And I went to this event, and this was my first sneaker event. And he was able to see me like move and shake in his room. And he was like, damn, like I didn't know my son was able to make moves like this. I was able to trade with people, get stuff that I wanted, make money from stuff that I've already had, like hundreds of dollars, $300-400 for a pair of shoes right on the spot. And he just like, damn. And so after that, my dad was like, yo, one of my mans got some shoes. He had like 50 pair of Jordans, all brand new. My dad was like, you think you can sell them? I said, yes, absolutely. So my dad, he took a risk on me then, but that was the one that like pushed me into the sneaker community as a whole, because now I'm on Facebook making these posts with all this good shit.
Oh
People
wow,
don't
you
know
started
like,
on Facebook.
oh yeah, this is on Facebook. Yeah, like in the that's
Crazy.
where
At that time, that was Facebook communities is popping. You can get some stuff
yeah,
moving.
Wow.
that's where the sneaker community essentially was. It was in buying and selling groups, marketplaces. I forget all the names of them, but there's just forums. Like that was the community. That's how everybody was connected. And I just got a shipment, 50 pair of brand new Jordans, like all the good stuff too. Bread fours, all the 13s, all the 11 Space Jams, Concords, Cool
I
Grays.
think that's the big thing because his space is changing. I don't, I'm not too big on sneakers.
Those are like
Like
prime colorways. Like
white
everybody wanted a pair of Bread Force. Everybody wanted a pair of Space Jam 11s. Yeah.
white cement fours, black cement fours, military blue fours. I got all the shoes that people would want, I had in high school.
Random
Like,
question. What
and
size? What size were there?
they were all size 11. They
Oh,
were all size 11.
oh, you can
And
move
so
that.
so it's like a prominent size. So, I'm making these posts, and like it's the people who actually do this, like, yo, like what's up? So I'm making deals like 4 or 5 grand at a time, not no like $100 deals. I started making like big deals at a time, and I was able to make the money, give my dad his payback, and keep the profits. But I was able to just meet the people. Like I'm just doing deals with DJ Khaled's plug, Rick Ross plug, because these are the sizes that they wear, and so like I'm supplying them because that's where they getting their shoes from now. And then I started going to sneaker cons, like I was able to set up tables. I had a pretty good sized table. I had a lot of shoes, and plus the shoes I already had. So we're looking at like 100 plus shoes on the table.
Wow.
And then able to meet people at the sneaker cons, like SneakerCon Chicago, SneakerCon New York, SneakerCon LA. Like I'm 15, 16 at these events. And that's where I was able to just start to meet people and just start doing business in the sneaker community and learn about the sneaker world.
So how'd you pivot from sneakers to where you're at now? Because this sounds like you were doing great there. Like things were moving how they needed to move.
Well, to make the pivot, we got to stop at like the sneaker events, right? Mm-hmm. So I love sneakers, but the sneaker game changed. It changed. It started to become a lot more people who wanted to resell. They started to do raffles on the apps, and you had to have bots and a lot of things like that. So, I mean, for somebody who really did it, it didn't really change anything, but what it did, like the price of sneakers going up, that kind of like really cut into things too. Instead of you paying $150, $160 for a pair of brand new Jordans, you paying $220, damn near $300 for a brand new pair. So that was kind of like tough for me at the time. Like I didn't understand what that was. And so it was harder for me to go and get shoes, especially like moving to Atlanta. I used to be trapping out the West End, like at the West End Mall, at the Foot Action over there, like 4 a.m, thousands of dollars in my pocket with some of my buddies, like trying to get shoes. To be me and my friend Warren, like I would wake him up, like, yo, get up. Like we gotta go to, like, can you come with me to get these shoes? But this was freshman year, like I'm trapping, like walking from the West End Mall with like 4 or 5 pair of Yeezy bags.
Whoa.
Trekking, and sometimes I catch the bus, but like that started to get like just a little bit, I'm not gonna say too much. Like I didn't have the manpower. I didn't know people like that yet. And so I wanted to have a sneaker event on campus because I started to like back up from trying to go buy new shoes. I'm like, let me try to sell shovels. Because I heard this saying, it was, in a gold rush, you got the people who want to go and dig for gold, and you got the people who got to sell the people the shovels to dig for gold. So I said, well, let me see how I can sell a shovel, which was a sneaker event. I said, I got a place where people who love fashion, people who always want sneakers, and I'm sure everybody do not know where to go get stuff here. So I said, I know sneaker events, I know sneaker community, let me try to bring it on campus. And so it was during my sophomore year, first semester, I went to Dean, like, yo, Dean, I got an idea for a sneaker event. What do you think? And he said, like, man, people tried to have it already. I said, yeah, they did, but they don't know, me. Like, I was a professional. And so I told Dean, yeah. I'm like, look, this is what we could do. This, how can you help? So we was able to work something out. We was able to set a date for it. And so I had from break first semester, sophomore year, the event was going to be second semester. It was February. I think that Saturday, it was like the second week of February. So right Super Bowl weekend, we had the event, and it was the first one. And it was just something different to the AUC, in my opinion, that it wasn't there while I was there. I mean, yeah, we had Hump, we had Market Friday, but to really bring outside vendors, people who had no connection with the AUC, like white people selling stuff, women selling stuff, like people's sneaker communities.
I thought that was like a Morehouse exclusive event, like guys bring their stuff in. Oh,
I heard about the event because I went to it and it was like dope. Like,
yeah, like it was people from just all over, like people that I met in the community in Atlanta. Like to get these people, I was on the ground. Like I was going to other markets, like, hey, you want to be a vendor at this event? And they, they took a risk. Like a lot of people were like, man, we don't know if people are gonna come. I'm like, people are gonna come. I'm like, it's a college community. I knew the event was gonna work because I had people. Like,
and
even the AUC,
students, they want shoes, they want fresh shoes.
They here. So I just knew it was gonna work. And then the first event, we had like 100 people come. we had like 25 vendors. So it may not seem like a lot, but that was for the first one, that was pretty good. Like Dean, he was able to see like, oh shit, like he really said he was gonna do exactly what he did.
Mhm.
And that's what happened. And then we was able to have three while I was there before COVID shut us down. But I'm sure if COVID didn't happen and we were kind of pulled away from campus, that kind of stopped the momentum for the event. And I after just reflection with me, it was just like I knew I didn't want to keep like putting that on, but you know, that had aspirations and the ability to kind of like go through across the nation, go through every HBCU potentially. And like I still got the blueprint. So I tried to tell Dean, like, yo, let's get it to some of the younger guys, which I'm still open to, but like it just gotta be the group of right people because it's very like it's meticulous. And I was able to do this like truthfully, like by myself. Like I tried to develop a team, but it just didn't work out. But the first few events, like I was the one knocking on doors. Like I was able to get a few people to help out, but they had their own things going on. They wasn't as committed as I was. I'm at 10 p.m. doing dorm walkthroughs because I knew that was like one of the best ways to get people, show them the event. But that was what I was focused on. Like after I was still selling sneakers, but that was like that was like a venture that I did, that sneaker event.
I like that you said that, like, instead of looking the analogy about gold, like instead of trying to find gold, think how you can supply the gold mine. I like that.
Yeah.
So like, have you thought about, because I like that idea. I like the idea of like a sneakers, especially bringing it to like HBCUs, because everybody want fresh kicks. Have you thought about
Yeah.
like touring that? Like, I think that would be a dope tour concept. Like going to different HBCUs and like setting up.
I mean, it was most definitely in the idea, but it was COVID. I
Yeah.
think everybody had to figure out how to adjust. And so I had different ideas I was gonna try to do an online event and stuff, but it was just, I think for me, just not having a team and just kind of like, you can only get so many ideas in a room by yourself, brainstorming by yourself. So I think for me, and I would try to call people, but when people aren't as committed to an idea that you have,
Yeah.
you could call them, but it's like, yo, I'm busy. Like, and it's like, okay, well, I don't want to keep telling people my ideas and I'm getting hit with like, yo, I'm busy. And so it was just with the COVID, I don't know why it didn't take off, but I pivoted,
Yeah.
I put it in my idea book. That's what it was. COVID, I think, was just a very transitional period for a lot of people. And so if COVID didn't happen, honestly, who knows where that would have been.
That's true.
Yeah. And that's, sometimes I think that's what we as entrepreneurs need. You need that pivot. Like, this is a great idea. This is a great concept, but everything has a season. Everything has its time. Now it's time to kind of move on to something else. So, I'm a strong believer. Like, one of my sayings is follow the omens. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did. Like, we rolled these events out to its max. We did great with the time that we had. And then it's like, all right, it's what we had, and then it kind of died off. Everyone took their hands off it. It's like like you said, you can only have so many ideas by yourself. You can only do so much by yourself.
So
Absolutely.
how did RefreshCo come about? Like, how did you move into this new space?
Well, it was junior year, middle of COVID. So I think we were just now like starting to go online and stuff. I was I wanted to eventually, I knew I wanted to start a company, like a company, something that I can build value with and potentially sell. And so, I'm doing what any smart person would do, doing my Googles. I'm looking like what type of companies can generate cash quickly. And so a company that can generate cash like really quickly is like a service business, a business where you exchange money for a service. So doing hair. When I was looking at the stuff online, they were saying like laundromats, cleaning services, HVAC, electrician, plumbers, all those businesses generate cash fast because you exchange the cash for the service. That's what it said. That's what they said online. And so I seen the idea. I seen a janitorial service. I said, okay, I think that's when I could start. And then I was, just kind of brainstorming the idea with one of my buddies, Aaron, back to Detroit. He went to Howard and he's an entrepreneur too. He does interior design. He's Davenport Avenue interior design. And so we was brainstorming the idea. He's one of the people that I would call when I have something to talk about as far as like an idea. And we was just coming up with a name and brainstormed for like a few days and came up with RefreshCo, came up with the logo. Like this logo I got made on like Fiverr my junior year. And it was just an idea then. Cause I had to finish out school. I'm still selling sneakers. But then I had an internship with Accenture and it was online. So like I was actually like really excited to go to Chicago and do this job because
Yeah.
you know HBCU, a lot of people talk about, I'm going to work here, I'm going to work here. They really like push that. So I kind of was starting to drink that Kool-Aid of going to work for like a company. They were
You
saying go to
were
learn.
you were a business major in Morehouse, correct?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was a business major, finance concentration. And so you know they I still took I took the internship. I did what they kind of like groomed us to do, go shake hands at the tables, go to career fairs, suited and booted, portfolio, resumes. I was suited. I was ready to go. I had pretty great, I think I had some pretty great opportunities, Accenture, a bank, like I was groomed. Like I appreciated them for that, but I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like I used to tell them, like, okay, y'all trying to teach me how to do this, but I'm like, how come y'all can't teach me how to do what I actually want to do, just build the company? But as I see now, they don't know. They didn't know. Like as you see, entrepreneurship now is really starting to be at the forefront. Like they have an entrepreneurship center. They have a center for innovation. Like a few years ago, I would say throughout the world, entrepreneurship wasn't as put on the forefront as it is now.
Oh yeah.
People wanting to get their credit fixed, people wanting to learn new things, take these courses. I would say a few years ago, it probably was out there, but I didn't know about it.
You had to
And
be
so
in
I'm sure
the community to
If
know.
you knew,
Yeah.
you knew type of thing.
if I didn't know, I'm sure other motherfuckers didn't know.
Yeah.
So they wasn't, I would say they weren't really necessarily helping me all the way. They helped me as much as they could. So I was still grinding with Accenture. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to Accenture. But I mean, I would say I wasn't as prepared. So, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. They probably didn't even know how to prepare me at Accenture. They don't know I'm sure they don't know how to teach a black kid over the internet how to do his job necessarily. And so
Oh,
at the end of that,
I'm sorry to cut you off. You did your internship online?
it was online.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So, that online internship, I would say, I mean, I did the best I could. They're deep into a project. So, I'm sure they're not gonna keep stopping and I'm putting time on calendar trying to talk to people. But it was new for everybody. So I don't blame them. They probably ain't know what the hell's going on. But at the end of it, I wasn't awarded the return offer. So, a lot of people like, oh, during that senior year, they already got their job lined up. So, I was hoping for that, a couple dollars after graduation, I got a job. I was ready, but they didn't give it to me. So, you know, I had a few days. I said, well, shit, we got to figure something out. I only had a few days because I knew that I can't go into my senior year not doing anything. Like, cause that's the setup for life. Like, and I'm not about to spend my whole senior year and then figure out, oh, what I'm gonna do. So I said, all right, I got a couple days. What I'm gonna do? I talked to some people, talked to my dad, talked to some of my friends who were entrepreneurs. Donovan, he did rag culture. Now
Yeah.
he's a music exec.
You had
He
him
was at the time.
on for an episode.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's what's up.
Yeah.
Talk to him, asking him, just talking about that. And I still had some time, I had my whole senior year. So I pretty much, I made the mental decision to jump. Like, okay, I'm gonna go in on myself and I'm gonna start a company.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was yet, but now a few days after that, I walked outside. I was driving out my building. I seen some cleaning ladies, and I said, okay, I'm gonna stop and talk to them, or I'm gonna keep going. And because you see somebody, you be like, maybe I should ask them. I don't know. So you kind of like, I was like, all right, I said something to him, right? and we had a quick conversation. I told her, I was like, yeah, I'm trying to get into the cleaning business. I got a company, woo, woo, woo. Got her number. But that was the start into the industry. Like, I never talked to the lady. Like, I called her, she ain't never answered. But from that day forward, it's like every day I was chomping away at the industry, and I eventually had got into it. So like my whole senior year, that's all it was. It was class, and then it was building a company. That's essentially like how it started. Yeah.
No, I definitely get that. Come senior year, you do see it. You see everyone's like, oh, I'm going here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it does get a pressure.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way. Like when I decided my senior year, I had graduated with a health degree, and like I was accepted into medical school, and I decided I didn't want to be a doctor anymore. So I was kind of freaking out because I didn't know what the hell what am I going to do? And so that's how I ended up going into the tech world, and finding my way through that. So I definitely feel that. So I say kudos to you because you took that like leap of faith on yourself to say like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do, but I know it's gonna be great, and I know I'm gonna do it.
And
so
it sounds like everything that you've done so far is the attitude of like, it has to get done. It has to work where it has to work. Like there is no plan B. There is no, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna go get a job. It's like you commit to yourself in the full sense of the word, like unreservedly. And I really respect that, and I appreciate that about everything that you talked about so far, because a lot of people can't say that they've done that. They can't say like, I've committed to building a business and all I did was go to class and build my business in the middle of a pandemic. It's like, oh, I built my business, but I also was filling out job applications, or I was talking to my friend's mom that works at a company just in case, like I need a backup plan. And it's like, no, sometimes you just gotta go all in. And if you fall on your face, then you fall on your face. But there are so many lessons that come in that journey, from starting to falling on your face to getting back up and doing it again.
The ships were burned. I mean, like honestly, I never had a job before Accenture. I didn't need one. I was already doing something. And so it was like, it's tough. I ain't gonna lie. Like it's hard. And I mean, you be seeing people like, you see people, they go on a brunch, they work for this. Oh, I work for Twitter. I do this, I do that. And it's like, it's cute. It's cute.
I'm going to work.
That's
I definitely feel you on that. We constantly.
It's cool. It's cool.
I would say you probably have a probably good solid friend group on your head too, because we constantly, he's my accountability partner. He has to be.
Love that.
Because there'll be times where I'll be like, like I said, I work a 9 to 5 right now, but I have my business. We have this business. He has his own separate business. And like, there'll be days, nights, weekends where we're working. And I'm like, I pull up Instagram for a second. Everybody's at brunch. Everybody's traveling here and there. And I have to remind myself the goal.
Yeah, very
goal.
true. And I will say this, like, you're right. Absolutely. But I want to say it's like, it's nothing wrong with people who want to go and get a job. I'm going to be very honest. A lot of people are not cut out for this. This is not easy.
Absolutely.
And sometimes like I look at those, I'll be seeing like, oh, people doing this, oh, they doing that. And I just be like, damn, like, it look attractive. It's attractive. People who are in my position, I'm learning how to do what they're doing, learning how to build lifestyles for people. A lot of people, they want to be guided, they want to be led. That's why such our prominent leaders, that's the reason a lot of people follow behind them, because they knew they could trust them. A lot of people trust these companies. They trust that their paycheck gonna be in their account on Friday morning.
Yes, sir.
They're gonna check that account, is gonna be in there, but they not comfortable with, okay, I don't know where it is gonna come from. They don't know how to get it out the mud, and that's fine. And that's something I had to realize from people I'm around. I can't expect everybody to be the same type of dog that I am.
We literally just had that conversation the other day.
You can't. Everybody not that type of person.
You can't.
So let me, because you've mentioned a few times now, and I think it's really, really important. I don't know if the audience is going to catch this, but I really want to talk about the people that you're around, the people that you like choose to take advice from and choose to confide in. How did you kind of find those people? How do you vet those people out? It's multiple questions, but I guess we'll start with, how do you find, or how did you find the people that you work with, or how did you find your business partners? Or do you have business partners even?
I don't have any business partners currently. I am building a team of people, and so they kind of like my partners, but they don't necessarily have like ownership stake
Okay.
yet or anything. You know, we're still kind of in that concept phase, figuring out exactly what it is that we're doing. But as far as the people, I would say like just continue going through life and God, like he puts people in your life. And I would say I got my buddy Josh. I would say he's most definitely he's older than me, like graduated 2019, like 24, 25. He most definitely became like very important a part of my journey, you know, meeting him and him starting his company his freshman year of college, and you know, being able to hear his journey of him trying to figure out what he was to do. I was able to take a lot of information and accelerate my growth because he's already done it. So him being a friend, a mentor, he was able to help me get there. My friends from high school, Aaron, Chris, there's so many people, my cousin Boogie, my dad, my mom, like just all my friends from high school, all of those people are still like essential. And then the people I met at Morehouse, Josh is the only one. Jones, Deontay Jones. It's so many people. I can't even think of you and you know, Ian, you guys, like it's so many people that I've met that like were very crucial. But I'm gonna be honest, like I don't have a big friend group. You see, I'm here by myself. I'm at the office by myself. And I would say Josh, he was the one who kind of had told, he helped me with this, is that, you know, you got to stop polling around, asking a lot of people what you think or what you should do. And I think him being like much older than me, already being a part of his journey, like I had to start to work on that. And so it's kind of gotten even smaller, like who I go to and talk to about certain things, because honestly, a lot of people don't know. Like they never been through it. And so when you asking people some complex questions, like they gonna tell you what they think. They're not gonna give it to you from experience.
They
And so
heard.
I had to learn. This is from Cardone, Grant Cardone. I'm a big follower of his message. Um, I go to his events, things like that. But they talked about like if you really want to ask somebody some advice for something, you need to know that they've already been through it. Now they have it kind of more in like a business sense, like you need to ask someone who have they if they are a business and they're ahead of you, you need to ask them, okay, what's the biggest business that you've built? If it's not bigger than yours, then you can't ask them because they don't know. If they never sold their business, you can't ask them these questions because they truthfully don't know. Now, I agree with that, but I don't take it wholeheartedly. Like I'm not gonna think someone cannot help me or tell me something, but I most definitely have to pull that message. Like you can't go to everybody asking them for advice because they cloud your judgment. And I would say I used to do that. I used to just ask people what they thought about stuff, and I would say it kind of made things unclear for myself because I wasn't able to listen to my intuition, I think. And so now I don't necessarily do that as much. I still ask people for help, absolutely, but I'm just not going around everybody telling them my problems. No, they don't need to know. No, it's not their business. And so, yeah.
One of my favorite books is The Richest Man in Babylon, and he talks about why would you go to the jeweler and ask him about selling cattle? He doesn't know anything about selling cattle. He's a jeweler for a reason.
Yeah.
And it came from, in the book he talks about, I don't know if you ever read it, he talks about how like he went to, it was a blacksmith, and he went to the blacksmith, was like, hey, if you give me this money, I got these jewels that we're going to get and we're going to like make big profit off of them. And then the jewels turned out to be a dud. He ran off with his money, long story short. And the guy was like, well, why would you give a blacksmith
Your
money to go get jewels?
Right.
Blacksmiths for a reason.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that. And I've had to learn that as well, because one thing I noticed with it was that people, when they don't know things, they normally comment or give advice from fear. Like if they can't give you an answer as to like, well, where should I go next? And they're like, well, maybe you should just focus on, it's always fear-based. Maybe you should focus on this, or maybe you should think about that. It's never step out on faith. It's always fear-based. So I've had to learn that, to stop asking for advice. And necessarily for me, it was stop asking for other people's approval of my aspirations.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I love that. I found a quote on your Instagram, and it really, really kind of stuck out to me. And it was part of your caption. You said, millionaires aren't what we see on TV and Instagram. They're normal people with extraordinary mindsets. And I just thought that was so powerful. How did you
Yeah, I said that.
Millionaires aren't what we see on TV and Instagram. They are normal people with extraordinary mindsets.
Yes, they are.
Do you remember how you came
Some.
up with that, or?
Yes. So I went to Chicago for cleaning. It was a cleaning conference. It was from the Ricky Regalado. They own a company in Chicago called Regalado. I may be saying it wrong, so excuse me, Ricky, if you hear this, I'm saying it wrong. But they have a company. They were doing like 10 million. It was a commercial. It's a commercial cleaning company doing 10 million plus a year in revenue. And I heard about it just listening to something about cleaning on YouTube, like hearing about his company, and they were having this event called Cleaning and Cocktails. And so I said, it's perfect place to go because, I'm big on events. I'm big on community. Like whatever it is you're doing, you need to get into the community. That's how you learn. Like those are the people who are like-minded like you. And so I get there and, I'm the youngest person there. I'm 22 at the time. I got my crispy fit on, got the polo, American flag polo sweater on, got the jeans crispy with the sneakers, and everybody else, they're just regular, they're chilling. Now I'm chilling too, but I just like my clothes.
Right.
And so, but they're all much further along than me, and like they're way older than me. And as we're talking, I'm asking these people like, well, how much, how much you doing like in business? Like one dude was just regularly like, oh yeah, we're doing about like 200 200K a month in contracts. I have 200K a month worth of contracts. And it didn't ring a bell at the moment. But then I just said like,
Do the math real
I
quick.
said 200K times 12. Oh, this nigga, he got 2.4 million in just business. He just said like, oh, and like that's my side gig. And so I'm just like, and this is regular guy, like button down shirt, slacks, on his phone, like not even fully into it. And he's not even all the way into the business. Like, this is what he told me. But then there's other people that like, I remember there's a guy, him and his daughters, like they had a company. Their company's been around for 20 years. Like the regulados, like they're doing 10 million. And they're like, I don't see no Lamborghinis. I don't see nothing, no crazy watches, or I don't see any of these like super fancy clothes. They're just regular people with their company shirts on. And that's when I was like, damn, like as you're talking to these people, they're telling you such profound things. It was this one guy there just talking about like spirituality, a black, a brother. And, he has his janitorial business, but he's talking in such a way. I'm like, God damn, he's saying some real shit. But he's not anything crazy. He's not what you would see on Instagram. Nobody in there was that at all. And that's where I was like, God damn, like that's what it's really like. Like, well, maybe this is the other side. I'm not saying you can't have anything nice or these nice things, but I'm like, it at some point somebody lying. Somebody now he telling the truth because he just showed it like we doing 200K in contracts. Here you go. He could have lied to me, but I don't think, why you lie? Why would you lie about that? Like that was a very specific lie. He broke it down. He showed me. He said, these are all the contracts we got for the month. He wrote it down he had it in his phone in his notes. It was like 20 contracts. And I said, God damn. And so that's where I pretty much, I had learned that, and from other events that I've gone to, it's the same thing. Now, of course, you have people who like nice things. They dress nice. They got nice suits. I like nice shit too. But I'm noticing a lot of these people, they're just the regular people, It's not about like these materialistic items. It's not about, designer head to toe. It's not about all these like super fancy cars. And as I'm starting to get deeper and deeper into like this entrepreneur journey and like really building wealth for my family, they constantly talk about that. They like people, Cardone talks about this a lot. He says, fuck the Lamborghini. Now, although Cardone has a jet, Cardone has a helicopter.
And he bought
Cardone has,
he said,
he has these things, but he says like, I've been doing this for all a decade, almost 20 years. You know, he deserved that. But it's like, for me, being like so at the beginning of my journey, like I'm just starting to learn it's not about the people who are really further than you. They're not worried about, oh, let me get this car, let me get this watch, let me get these clothes or anything. It's like really building a value for what they're doing. So at that event, that's really where I learned that.
I truly wholeheartedly believe that. I say the loudest people in the room are normally the ones who are, the saying is the loudest people in the room are the poorest, but I don't want to say that. I would say the loudest people in the room are the people that normally feel the need to prove the most. I take that when I go into my conferences and networking events. I don't normally flock to the people who are like showy or the people who everybody flocks to. I go to the person who's sitting in the back of the corner, who's at the bar, who's kind of quiet and observing, because I'm that person. I'm normally quiet and I'm observing the scene. I'm trying to see who do I think I connect with. And from that, we've had multiple guests and I've made multiple lifelong friends of like, yo, like this girl, she's really on it. Like she's really doing crazy stuff, but no one ever took the time to talk to her. No one ever took the time to really like get to know her and her story. And so I've definitely learned that, you know, a lot of people who really have equated a sense of wealth in their life in all aspects, they come with a level of peace, but they also come with a level of like secureness in themselves. They never have to do the flashy. They never have to show it off. They never have to do the craziness on social media to prove it. It's just, I am who I am, and this is what it is. And if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are some of the goals that you're working for? Because I know that you enjoy nice stuff, but I know that's not your main priority, which for a lot of people, the Lamborghini might be the pinnacle of like, oh, I made it. So what are some goals that you maybe have for yourself or that you have for RefreshCo as well?
So our goal for RefreshCo is 1.5 million in revenue, well, in sales. That's one of our goals right now. One of our goals is to continue really building out our business model and really try to incorporate more like recurring business coming into our, not one-time sales, maybe like, so putting out like membership packages, things like that. Those are some of our goals. And then constantly just finding great people to bring into our organization. So great cleaners, great employees that are aligned and really build out the team. Those are some of our goals. Some of my personal goals right now is to speak Spanish, learning Espanol, and working on being a better listener. I'll say like those two, and putting more attention on myself, in the mental, spiritual, and in the financial realm too. Not, really working on not letting myself get worked up, or like I say, don't let my feathers get ruffled, because sometimes when I'm off my square and somebody, they say littlest thing, you kind of like you bark back. And so I'm just working on trying to like keeping those things in order. I would say those are the goals that I write down every day. So those are the goals currently. What's y'all goals?
Our goals? Well, for me, my goal is for this podcast, the goal is for us to reach at least 1,000 viewers in the next year. So I'll say podcast,
easy.
Yes, we've been seeing steady growth, but I think the main goal to sum up all of mine would be consistency. I'm one of those people, like you said, my feathers will get ruffled and I'll see something and be like, I don't know if I should keep going, or I'll have all these ideas and want to do everything at once. And a master of all is a jack of no trades. But I feel like in my business personally, my goal is to launch my brand, and to keep pursuing that and really start building that out and connecting with people through that aspect.
Ian told me about his business. What's your business?
So I actually have a personal development business. So I focus on financial development, personal life development, and then also business development, specifically for Black women who want to build wealth in their life.
That's what's up.
Yeah, my goal is to keep building that out and to really go. I feel like every time my feathers get ruffled, God shows me, just keep going, relax, keep going. And,
So for me, I don't think I've ever named it on the podcast out loud. No, I just feel like my business is my business. But so I created a business an entity called Maze Investment Group. It's near and dear to my heart. Been trying to really find a purpose. And so I think I've finally found my purpose, but I want to launch the business of helping men find quality long-term partners by becoming better communicators. So working on yourself in order to be in your best, find someone who matches you and find someone that you can add value to their life as well. So I'm currently building the model out and just refining exactly how I want to help my clients. So by the next 3 to 6 months, I want to get that launched. But the goals currently, thank you. Goals are to keep creating. I've been creating content every day on Instagram. So I create content at least 3 times a day, going up from 3 to 6 times a day. And just like Jay said, just staying consistent, because it's easier to maintain a habit than it is to start and stop. And that's always been my biggest struggle is I pick something up, I'm infatuated with it, I'm obsessed with it for like 2 weeks, a month, and then I stop and I'm like, well, I'm tired. So I want to get past letting my feelings be the captain and actually let my consistency and the principles that I'm building in my life show the character. And I want that to shine through my business, because how you do one thing is how you do everything.
That's true. I think that's the first time we've ever named our businesses on the podcast. Thank you for that question.
No problem. No problem. Doing my job.
Something we like to do here as we end all of our episodes is for our guests to drop a bag drop. We call it dropping a bag, and it's similar to a mic drop, but if someone listened to this and they didn't catch anything this whole episode,
which means they weren't listening.
Yes, obviously, but they're trying to sum it up. They just want to finish it out. What would you leave them with?
So I gotta say one thing.
You can say multiple things.
You can say multiple things. You got a lot of bags, drop them.
Okay. Well, I would say first, just like I'm starting to learn that this is just a journey. Like it's all a journey. And I would say in my curriculum, if people want to be like, they want to get any advice from me or learn from me, the first thing I have them read is The Alchemist. And the reason for that is because The Alchemist is a story of a journey, which is, i.e., the journey of life. Like his journey is like everyone else's journey. You think you're gonna, okay, I want this one thing. He wanted to get to the pyramids, but him getting to the pyramids led him in like a full, complete circle, which is just a journey of life. And so anybody, if you want to start on an entrepreneurial journey, you want to start on a journey of potential, just, I would say, learning more about yourself. I would say start with The Alchemist, because it'll I think it's a very fun read of the story of life.
Yeah.
I would say that's one bag. 2, don't ask, stop polling around for advice. It doesn't help you. It clouds your judgment. If you're gonna do something, just do it. Fuck it. You gonna learn, or you gonna learn? You gonna learn, or it's gonna work?
Yeah.
You gonna learn, or it's gonna work out. Like you'll learn a lesson. Some lessons are harder than others, but you're gonna learn a lesson. You gotta stop going after the money. Like it's like they say, you attract more honeys. You attract more honeys being fly. Like you gotta attract it. So that means working on yourself, fellas, ladies. You gotta get in the gym. You gotta drink water.
For sure.
I'm sorry, people don't drink water. They can't tell me they drink water, because they don't. A lot of people do not drink enough water. I don't drink enough water. And
it's hard if you really, really like, if you're not staying on top of it. I think the only reason I drink enough water is because I'm at home and Jace bought this huge filter. So if the filter's empty, it needs to be refilled. And then that means, and I bought these like big 30-ounce cups. That's the only way I drink enough water.
He keeps me on track to my water intake for my health. Like, yeah, bro,
it's hard, especially if you move.
It's hard. She drinking that water, and anybody bring up something about water, you damn near reach up and shit, let me get my cup, drink your water. But that's super important, because like, when you're going after life, like one thing that I learned, and this is how I know a lot of people, like a lot of these people in the cleaning business, I know I'm gonna make it to the top, is because they're tired. Their diets suck. They don't work out. They don't drink water. They grind it so hard. They're killing themselves. But it's like they're not really taking care of their biggest asset, which is themselves. So I would say that's like, I think my last I guess, mic drop is like you really have to take care of yourself. Get in the gym, drink your water, try to eat the best food as possible. Don't penny pinch on if you want to go to Starbucks and get you a Starbucks drink, go get it. If you only got $10 anyway, it's not gonna do anything. You might as well spend it. Go get you that drink so you can feel good, you know? And so, and then try to always wear the best clothes, try to always feel comfortable. Start only doing things for yourself. You know, I would say a lot of everything that I'm saying is towards self, because if self isn't right, you're not going to do anything for anybody else. You know, you can't help anyone if yourself isn't together. So do whatever in your ability to get yourself to the highest level, and then that's when you're going to be able to really help people. Last thing I have to say.
Yeah.
Man, I hope y'all listening
You dropped some
because
bags
I'm
there.
about
That's
to
all
drop some
free
bags.
game.
That's free.
Yes.
That's
Well,
free.
Self.
Thank you so much for coming on
No problem.
the podcast. We love having you here. Really do.
I appreciate y'all for having me on here. I wanted to do a podcast, so I appreciate you guys.
If the people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find the company on Instagram at RefreshCo ATL. You can find us online where you could go and actually schedule a cleaning. We're the #1 cleaning service in Atlanta that can make your life easier by taking on all of your cleaning. You could go to www.refreshcoatl.com and you can schedule your cleaning right online. You know, you don't have to call us. Just put all your information in, size of your home, and click book now. We can get you scheduled and we can take care of your cleaning. You can find me on IG, on my personal IG at UEV, where I pretty much try to outline my journey of life. There's nothing too crazy on there. It's just me, you know, and a little few things about the company. But that's where you can find us. As I said, we have, if this is out, I would say in the month of July. It's gonna go on for the whole month, but we're doing a special. We're doing up to 2,000 square feet worth of cleaning for only $175. It's normally $230. Giving you this deal, we're gonna scrub that house. We're gonna get it real nice. You know, a clean home is super important. I guess I got one more gem. A clean home is super important because if your house is dirty, if it's cluttered, you can't think, and you don't realize that, you know, what is it? Why am I struggling? It's because your house is dirty. It's because you ain't cleaned that bathroom in 3-4 weeks. That's why. The kitchen, that oven ain't been cleaning. You eating that food, you know? You eating that food in that dirty oven. Your food is sitting in a container in the refrigerator and you ain't get it cleaned. And so that's how we can help you. We can help you live a better life. We can take on all your cleaning. So that's the last thing I got to say.
Love it. Chase, where can the people find you at?
You guys can find me on all social medias at Jasia Robinson. Ian.
Y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ENB, 2 underscores at the end, TikTok Ian.B3. And you can follow Beat the Maze on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok at Beat the Maze Podcast, BEAT the MAZE podcast.
And don't forget, guys, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Keep in touch with us on our Instagram. We post daily on our Instagram new things and tips and tricks for you and your business. And also make sure you rate this. If you're listening online, you're listening to us through your car, your iPhone, whatever it might be, your Apple phone, your Android, whatever it might be. Make sure you give us a rate. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear more of. So as always, guys, you guys continue to beat your maze, and we will catch you back here next Monday at 8 a.m. on the dot.
We out.